Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey, have you ever heard of Unidragon.com?
Have I ever heard of Unidragon.com?
Yes, Unidragon.com.
Why, yes, I have heard of Unidragon.com. That's the puzzle dude.
The puzzle dude, that's correct. He has tons of puzzles. And of course, he is the best and original wooden puzzles.
You have owls.
Guess what is the #1 best-selling puzzle?
The owl.
Do you think you had anything to do with that?
No, everybody loves owls.
Well, right now, you can get 40% off in stock if you go to unidragon.com/products/enchanting owl. You need to make sure you get yours today. Now, they also have 2 to 6 days for shipping. You can domestically ship within the United States. They have a great customer support. If you ever have any questions regarding your puzzle, except for how to put it together, you can email them at care@unidragon.com. If you want to get 10% off, you can use our code DRAGONTECH. Again, that's Dragon, DRAGON, Tech, TECH, for a 10% off discounts. Now, if you want the original, go to unidragon.com. Beware of fakes. Only get your wooden puzzles at unidragon.com.
Get them all.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah, what's going on?
Have you ever heard of Learn Worlds?
No, I have not. Why don't you tell me about it?
Sure, let me tell you more about it. Do you want to create an income online by adding a new revenue stream to your business? It has never been easier. Consider taking your knowledge, skills, and expertise and converting it into a course that you can sell online.
Sounds cool.
It is really pretty cool.
Learn Worlds makes it easy to create, host, and sell beautiful online courses that have an impact. Learn World's intuitive platform and a wealth of resources to educate yourself. You're only a few steps away from building a thriving online business in the booming knowledge economy. Visit trylearnworlds.com/free to start your 30-day free trial right now. Again, that's trylearnworlds.com/free to start that 30-day trial.
Sounds cool.
Hey, Mike, have you heard of the Entrepreneur Swag Shop?
I have not heard about it.
You haven't? Well, let me tell you more. One of the biggest challenges business owners face is creating and maintaining a strong mindset, as fear, doubt, worry, and other negative thoughts tend to creep in. That's why I love the EntrepreneurSwagShop.com and what it's doing to address the common issue. Its mission is to empower entrepreneurs through clothing and accessories so they can stay inspired and focused on their goals.
That's cool.
It's not just who, but what you surround yourself with that makes an impact of how you think, the actions you take, and the results that you are going to get.
Dun, dun, dun.
At EntrepreneurSwagShop.com, again, that's EntrepreneurSwagShop.com, just how it sounds, you will find a variety of items to inspire you and help achieve your business goals. Whether you're young, old, male, female, or just beginning out on an experienced business or needing to refresh that older business, you'll find something in the shop that will help you on your journey.
Yeah, this is right up my alley.
Visit EntrepreneurSwagShop.com today and get 10% off your first order. Again, visit them online at EntrepreneurSwagShop.com. That's EntrepreneurSwagShop.com today to get that variety of information that makes you feel good to inspire you to continue on with your business goals.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, Technology News of the Week, the show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Roday here and David Brown in the studio. We're excited to be here. We are a 2-hour show. We're live 4 to 6 p.m. on Saturdays. You can catch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and, of course, your home radio station, 1150 KKNW. You can listen to it in Alexa now, too. So if you go to your Alexa device and you say, listen to KKNW 1150, boom, you're going to be listening to us live on the broadcast itself. Well, welcome. If you're listening to us, not on Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m., then you're catching a rebroadcast. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, not 4 to 6 p.m., and Sunday, you're going to be catching a rebroadcast. So go to techtimeradio.com. Again, that's techtimeradio.com to get all of your information updated so you can stay up to date with the latest information. We are a 2-hour tech show that talks about current technology in a simple format without geeking out. Okay, let's start the show.
Now on today's show.
All right, on today's show, we're going to explore IMDb's creator and talk a little bit about him. We're going to talk with, but we're going to listen to Elon Musk, who says Starlink, which is their internet service that he has released, is faster internet speeds for airlines than they currently get with GoGo Internet. Have you ever gone on a plane with the internet?
Yep.
It's slow, isn't it?
I don't use it.
You don't use it? It is so slow, and they tell you, please don't stream this, please don't do this. But if you have Starlink, which they have tons of satellites, we'll be talking about that, they're going to be transferring over to airlines so you can get faster network in a mesh network. So we'll talk about that. We're going to talk about deep fake voice technology pulling off a $35 million bank heist. Then why is the new James Bond movie the criminal's shiniest fish bait out there right now? We're going to be talking about a brand new scheme for the James Bond film that comes on out and how they grab your credit card and how they do a bunch of other stuff on Protect Yourself Today.
No way to get paid.
That's right. Then we have our Mike's Mesmerizing Moment brought to us by StoriCoffee. It can be talking about a bunch of great information. And then we also have, of course, our pick of the day whiskey tasting. That's all on the first hour of the show. On our second hour, we have our Steals and Deals segment, which includes the best technology deals of the week. Then we're going to have Ask the Expert, one of our favorite guests, James Riddle, the Vice President of Research Strategic Consulting at Advera. He's going to be talking about CRISPR, gene splicing, and the ability to bring Jurassic Park to real life. We're going to be talking about that. The woolly mammoths right now are being constructed in a lab in Dallas to be...
Yeah, that's not quite Jurassic Park. But...
Well, it's not quite, but what happens if you bring back woolly mammoths? Are you going to bring back other stuff? Well, we'll talk about the company that says that's what they want to do.
That's what they want to do.
Correct.
But we have woolly mammoth DNA, but we don't have dino DNA.
So you know what? We're just going to do like in Jurassic Park, and we'll just make some chicken DNA and somebody else, and then we'll make velociraptors that will go around.
Let's just make Veloci chickens.
That's right. There we go. Finally, we have an interesting Nathan Nugget to end the show, and we have This Week in Technology History to both of our shows. So welcome to 2 hours of Tech Time with your host, Nathan Mumm, and co-host, Mr. Mike Corday. Now, if you need any information, go to techtimeradio.com. You can always watch our live streams, and you can always get a hold of us on the phone at 425-373-5527 or 1-888-298-KKNW, which is 1-888-298-5569. If you call us right now on the radio, we'll get you on the air, and David will read the question for us. So we're really excited about this. Mike, we're going to start our technology show this week brought to you by Elderberry Boost. Get your Elderberry Boost today at elderberryboost.com. This Week in Technology, October 16th, 1990, Colin Needham, an English movie fan, launched Rec Arts Movies Database, which has been later known as the Internet Movie Database, or IMDb. IMDb is an online database with information related to films, television, programs, home video, video games, and streaming content. It once included the ability to have chat forms that they removed because it was getting to be more of a political-based event than the movies themselves. He worked as an engineer for HP. By 1996, he quit his real job and decided to move full-time into IMDb's most valuable internet service. Acquired by Amazon in 1988, Needleman is still the general manager of IMDb today. All right, if IMDb has free TV available, so if you want to check out more about IMDb, just visit imdb.com. All right, let's get our episode started with our first segment right now.
What's happening in the world of technology? This is our top stories in the first 5 minutes.
All right, Elon Musk says Starlink will provide faster internet speeds on airlines. Let's talk about how this happens. Elon touted the SpaceX plan to use Starlink for in-flight Wi-Fi, saying in a tweet on Thursday that the service could add low latency, half gigabyte connection in air. So half a gig. So that would be 500 megs in flight as you're flying across the United States.
Mm-hmm.
So you could literally, 500 megs, I mean, at 12 megs, you can stream a Netflix movie. So at 500 megs, you're able to have everybody on there probably streaming Disney Plus, Netflix
Yeah,
stuff.
everybody's going to broadband the crap out of it, aren't they?
They are. Then what happens when you're in space and all of a sudden you have that person that starts downloading something on a torrent file and it takes up all the bandwidth.
Takes up all the bandwidth, yeah.
And then is he going to get kicked off, or does Starlink continue to pay? Well, I don't know. Starlink says that they're planning to work with thousands of companies to enable this service across the United States specifically. They have now, up to date, more than 1,740 satellites circling the world. Our Earth, well, I guess the world.
Yeah, that would be the world. That would qualify.
So Earth right now, and they are letting 14 countries participate in a public beta to provide this service. Now, you can get their service if you sign up at Starlink for $99 a month with unlimited access. All right, that's story number 1.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, story number 2. Some interesting stuff, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Did you know that China is the most restrictive on internet access and stuff?
I did not until we were talking about it right here before the show itself. We were talking about it.
Yeah, China has the most restrictive internet policies of any country in the world. And it's so bad that today's story is that LinkedIn, which is the only Western social media type of platform that is allowed in China, has decided to pull its platform out of there.
Oh, wow.
Because it's become too restrictive, and they've been getting pressure from other people because one of LinkedIn's one of the reasons LinkedIn was able to do that was they said they were going to conform to Chinese government's restrictions.
Okay.
And be transparent about how they do their job, but they've been having some difficulties because they've had to block some journalists' feeds.
Okay.
And
were the journalists negative towards China?
The China government has a 2 million man internet police force that all they do is watch what's going on the internet, and they use all kinds of internet tools to find out if you're saying anything against the country, saying anything the country doesn't want you to talk about, looking at stuff that you're not supposed to. So they have a
pretty big brother. It sounds like that's huge,
very huge big brother.
Okay,
it's hard to pinpoint whether LinkedIn's move was driven by the pressure from China to continually reform their policies, or from the U.S., which has basically disagreed with LinkedIn's policies around this whole debacle.
So what are Chinese people going to use? I mean, I thought that they were using LinkedIn kind of as their Facebook /
they have
social
been.
Media.
China has their own platforms for all of those things, which is how the Chinese government keeps information restricted from the world. So they have their own. But apparently LinkedIn is going to launch a jobs-only site that is calling In Jobs later this year, but it won't have any of the social media features like a feed or chats or posts or articles or anything.
I wonder if they're
going
to do that for the United States in the next In Jobs, because LinkedIn is not where I go to if I'm looking for a job per se. I know that they have some job forums, but if I was looking for a job, I go to Indeed. I'd go to a bunch of different locations to find jobs.
I don't know. When in my job, I teach people to use LinkedIn as a job site, but it's secondary. It's secondary to local and more national things like Indeed. Indeed is the big one.
Yeah, they have a pretty nice interface too, right? I mean, their interface works really well. All right, that's great. Story number 2. All right, I got story number 3 here. I should have that ready up to go. Story number 3. Thieves use deep fake voice technology to pull off a $35 million bank heist. Thieves use deep fake technology to clone a businessman's voice and order a $35 million transfer to foreign accounts, according to court documents obtained by Forbes. In the most successful deep voice heist so far, it may be a small part of a growing trend of people using old school thieving tactics to use new technology today. We're going to dive more into this old-fashioned crime in our Protect Yourself Today segment. So we'll go right on to story number 4. QR code backlash has begun. You know what the QR code is, right? That's that funky little code that you scan?
Yes, we're very familiar with that. We're trying to go out to eat.
Isn't it? After our show, we always go to eat, and then we would go to a restaurant, and we would have to scan the QR code, and then it was just their webpage.
Yeah.
Right? And so then we'd have to scroll and enlarge and scroll to the left and scroll to the right.
It was stupid.
It was really difficult. Well, QR codes were an early pandemic staple in restaurants, cafes, and bars, a necessity to help customers with the COVID-19 restrictions and lockdown. Yet as establishments have increased capacity in many cities, they are still using this unpopular process for diners. FSR Magazine did a report that also talked about impacting the bottom line using these codes. Guests have growingly irritated to have to squint navigate food and beverage selections that for businesses that revert to paper menus over the QR codes have seen an increase in sales.
Yeah, there's a couple reasons for
along with a rise of guest satisfaction. So why would you say that would be? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I think that's an easy thing to peg your thing on because we like touching things.
Yeah.
So that's one. We get
sensory.
something. We get some sensory input from using a menu, and also we don't have to freaking navigate through the stupid website, which is not very friendly.
They weren't designed right.
They're not designed for easy access. And I think these web designers, they get a little bit too complicated and things like that. So you're trying to scroll and some stupid thing will pop up, and it'll interrupt your flow.
Yeah,
so,
it was really bad, right? Because we had then all of a sudden you get a special, right? So you're logging on, you're trying to look at a menu, and then all of a sudden, boom, this big banner comes on up, 25% off. Put your email address in here, and you're like, dude, I just want to see the menu. I'm in your restaurant right now.
Right.
Just show it to me.
So obviously, there's two things going on here. One is that we're reverting back to what we used to do, which everybody wants.
Okay.
There's this need to go back to how we did pre-pandemic, and then there's the tangible piece and the difficulty of using our own media devices for this kind of junk.
So less than 3% of the restaurants used a well-designed program, but it did say that companies that used a well-designed QR code for a smart ordering system did see an increase in sales, and then people had the ability to order it and not have to have that one-on-one personal contact while they're sitting on down for refills and doing it. So the message is, if you're going to be a restaurant and use a QR code, why don't you make sure you design that link to not go to your webpage, but a specifically designed menu that is optimized for a touch device.
Yes.
That's right. All right, Mike, well, that got us through the top stories in the first 5 minutes. If you want to learn more, you can visit us online at techtimeradio.com and click on our episode section or blog to get more details regarding each of these stories. Now it's time for us to get ready for our whiskey tasting at the break. But up next, we have Protect Yourself Today segment as we look at the old crimes using new tactics. Hi, I'm Nathan Mumm, host of TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm on KKNW. TechTime Radio's live show is Saturday from 4 to 6 p.m., and you can always check us on the web at techtimeradio.com. Our segmented stylized radio gives you the breaking news before it hits mainstream media. Join myself and Mike Corday as we'll make you laugh.
That's good. So, Hooked on Phonics worked for you, didn't it?
It did, just a little bit. And learning something new in technology. Join us Saturdays, 4 to 6 p.m., and Thursdays from 6 to 7 a.m. The Technology Show for the everyday common person.
Hi, this is Lisa Downs, host of Reigniting You, the show that takes a positive, forward-looking approach to mid to late career transitions for Gen Xers and Boomers every Wednesday afternoon at 3 o'clock Pacific. Whether you're looking to stay in the traditional workforce, do your own thing, or retire or semi-retire, Reigniting You is your source for career transition advice, inspiration, and insight for what's next in your career and life. Join me Wednesdays at 3 o'clock to get re-energized, recharged, and reignited.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We just had our first whiskey tasting. Mike, during the break, we got to sample our whiskey pick of the day, which is the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple. It is 70 proof, $17.99 for a bottle. It's
Not for that bottle.
Well, not for this bottle. No, this is a sampler bottle. So I got a small one so we could sample here. And I did not buy the big version because I didn't know if I was going to like this. This is a Jack Apple taste. So I don't know if that's supposed to be like Applejack, but they couldn't say Applejack. Jack Apple taste combines crisp green liqueur with the unique, unmistakable character of a Jack Daniel's taste. Fresh cut apples combined with a warm caramel and a toffee balance classic spice. What do you think?
I think it's pretty good.
You like it? Do you like apples?
Not particularly,
Yeah,
but
if you have an apple, are you a red apple guy or a green apple guy?
Depends on my mood.
Oh, or a yellow apple. I mean, those are, you get the yellow apples kind of thrown in there. I don't like that; they're too mushy, so I don't.
I don't usually eat yellow apples.
So you like a red apple then?
Depending on, do you know how many different types of apples there are?
Well, see, the red is.
I don't like Red Delicious.
Okay,
but I like Honeycrisp or
some
of the other
red skins.
red, yeah, whatever.
So
those apples.
So I love a green apple. It's got a little bit, normally it has a little bit of that tart taste.
Tart.
Right? Yeah, I like that tart taste. And then it reminds me of the Sour Patch Kids that I like. All right, okay, well.
Okay, then.
Okay. Did you know with Sour Patch, their standard sour deal is apple tasting.
Yeah.
So, because everybody likes it. I do like that tasting there. So.
Okay.
Do
you just buy Sour Patch Kids a lot? Is that
No, but I'm thinking of apple taste, so that brought me back to it. All right, here we go. All right, let's start our next segment right now.
Protect yourself today.
All right, Protect Yourself Today, where we talk about all of the greatest crime-fighting processes used with today's technology.
The crime-fighting
processes that's right, thieves using technology to pull off a $35 million bank heist. Is this old crime tactic still in play? So thieves used an audio deepfake technology, which we talked about a little bit.
What's deepfake?
So that is a computer. Is it deepfake face? Is the same kind of deal where essentially it takes your existing voice and it will go through synthesizers, and then it will create a pattern of how you talk, up and down, your dialect, how you would pause between it, and it will create, through technology and AI, a process that will then repeat how you talk.
Right.
So I don't know, a deep fake for my talking would be horrible. They'd have to put in some mispronunciation of words here and there. And
no, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure they could use just Google Translate or something.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So according to court documents obtained by Forbes, the most successful deep voice heist so far to date was that $35 million transfer. This is what they did. The AI created a cut and paste simulation video process, and they actually used the reference in video by inserting a cloned subject into the scene to create the technology of this individual. But if you stick and you listen to the video that was created with the voice, you can see the audio deepfake come into play as it trains the AI to repeat someone's voice. The AI then says in the person's voice the information that's needed. So have you ever seen Mission Impossible?
Mm-hmm.
So they have they have these things where they'll record a voice. They have that thing where they put your face on and do it. This is the idea of taking that voice, listening to a sentence where, oh, I like you very much. And then all of a sudden they come up with a full, here is the passcode 576. That's essentially what you would see in television now actually happening, as there's a lot of things that are happening in TVs and movies that we're talking about on today's show.
Yeah.
Once a deepfake technology hits a certain level of realism, experts expect that the new era will continue to be providing a high boost. Let's talk about this. In 2020, a bank manager in the UAE received a phone call from the director of a large company. A big acquisition was in the works, according to the director, so he needed the bank to authorize $35 million in transfers to several U.S. accounts. The director pointed to emails from a lawyer to confirm the transfer, and since everything looked legit, the bank manager put it through. But the director of the company was actually a deep voice algorithm trained to sound like its victim. The UAE is now seeking U.S. assistance in retrieving the lost funds, which were smuggled to accounts around the globe by a party of 17 or more thieves. So they were all working together on this. This is not the first audio deepfake heist, but again, it's the most successful so far. Similar operations will occur in the future as we take a look at a much larger scale. Because deepfakes are constantly improving, it's eventually becoming too convincing for humans to properly identify. But trained AI, so here's what we got. An AI that can create and simulate your voice. But now to combat that, what we're going to do is we're going to train an AI to be able to spot deep fakes that are going on. So we're going to have an AI process that takes our voice and translates it. We're then now at the banks, we're going to have an AI that will then seek out to make sure.
This is how Terminator works in reality. There's going to be no need for human beings ever after all these AI exist.
That's correct, right? So it makes it much more difficult because it will pick up digital noise or small sounds that are impossible for humans to make.
Mm-hmm. They're doing that with auto dubbing too.
Are they doing it with auto dubbing?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. That sounds good. All right. Let's talk about the long con. So that's the ability of using AI to change your voice and then have an AI on these banks and these other. So we're going to just have AIs looking after AIs, looking after AI. Have you ever got a phone call that is now? I got a policeman ball just a couple days ago. Please sponsor this. Mm-hmm. The guy's voice was so good. And I said, well, I don't really think I'm interested. And then he said, Nathan, I know that you're probably not interested. So somehow I was being sarcastic and I didn't.
I'm pretty sure it didn't detect your sarcasm.
It didn't detect my sarcasm, but somehow it knew that I said that I really wasn't interested. And then it responded by, Nathan, I know that you're not interested, but please listen for more. I was blown away by that. I was trying to, AI, welcome, I'm Robert Thiel, help the New York people, blah, 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 blah. And essentially it came to be in. So I was just totally amazed by that. Now let's talk about the long con. This is what people are doing. You know what a long con is?
Yes.
So
traditionally a long con would be where you are very subtly setting somebody up for a con to occur. So it takes time, patience, and wherewithal to pull this off.
Correct. So this is the same exact thing that's now happening in technology, where essentially the long con is coming up where you are having patients and espionage targets that are looking at whales. A whale is essentially a high-level, sea-level individual where they're targeting individuals, and they are spending, cyber criminal gangs are spending up to a year finding out research about that, embracing new technologies, and actually doing a full research of what's going on regarding that individual. So let's talk about a CEO of a company. The gang may post for several months to get the CEOs or COOs information of who they can impersonate as additional actors. So essentially they're trying to do research regarding that. They go to Facebook, all the social media sites, find out who friends are of these big whales. Then what they do is they process and try to work with one of these sub-individuals that would be connected to the CEO and get them to be compromised through either an email phishing attempt or the ability to actually log into the machine so that they can then send an email from a lower individual that may be working with the CEO to engage them into another conversation. So a CEO of a company here might have some friends. Maybe they have a social group. They go out to a certain athletic club. They work out. They find these individuals within that area. They then target them for a compromise so that they can then get into their email accounts and send an additional email to that CEO or that higher up level. A whole type of new area of trying to specifically use ransomware attacks, data theft, and extortion for these high-level individuals by creating a full profile. Most of these profiles include anywhere between 100 to 200 individuals that they have looked for to manipulate the larger whale. So they go 100 to 200 people. They create profiles, including spreadsheets and information regarding acquaintances of this big whale, to create a database of information so that when they do trigger and try to manipulate this individual, they will have backing of information regarding social events, media events, and either past or present employees to trick them into giving their credentials out. A new world of organized criminals is challenging. The Florentine Banker Group has stolen millions from UK-based private equity firms by using this patented long-term disciplined method. The group would start with the attacks by manipulating an email, a tiny number of senior employees, until they can trick the top-level individuals.
Yep.
All right. That is very disconcerting that they are creating these long databases. And then what happens is these databases go online on the dark web, and you can purchase them and purchase information for additional sea-level whales with contact databases in place.
Yeah, so what do you do about that?
As a C-level individual,
Yeah.
you make sure that you do not respond. What you end up doing is you end up not responding to emails, clicking on links anymore, and you go back to an old tried and true method where you pick up the phone, you call the individual, and if you need to have something taken care of, you make sure that that individual is really asking for the information and have that conversation one-on-one. Because these C-level individuals normally are not the most tech-savvy individuals of a company.
Nope.
They normally come from a financial background or some business background that they went to school with, some Ivy League individual. They knew somebody from somebody and essentially kind of got into that senior level position. And without having the right tools, if you do click on one of those links that they send, that can cause your company millions of dollars in a compromised breach.
So what you're saying is you can do something about it, but the reality is that probably not a whole lot's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because human beings are lazy and they're going to find the quickest way to get stuff done. And using this stuff is quicker. Using email and stuff is quicker than calling somebody on the phone. These folks are actually pushing what could potentially push this so far that we have to revert to face-to-face interactions.
It is. I mean, that's literally. What happens is, of course, the C-level kind of says, well, IT, you just need to take care of this, right? So they just expect the IT individual to have the ability to do this. But the IT individuals, and no matter how well you can protect yourself, if someone says, contact us to send you information that is an incorrect source, and you send it, then you have kind of made the company liable itself.
Yeah.
Hey, we're going to take a break.
I know,
need
I'm
some more
coughing.
whiskey?
I swallowed wrong.
You got some more whiskey? All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we return, we're going to continue this segment. We're going to look at a new movie con that's all about 007. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got TechTime Radio. I got David Brown behind the board, Mike Roday here to my left, and we'll see you after the break.
Did you know that up to 12 to 15% of Americans grind their teeth at night while they sleep? Yeah, it's called bruxism. I used to work at a sleep lab, and we used to measure that, and it leads to a lot of problems like headaches and destroys your teeth. It wears down the enamel, and it's just very hard on your mouth.
So every once in a while I'll wake up, my jaw will hurt. Do you think that I'm grinding my teeth at night?
Yep.
Well, so how do you go about protecting this then?
The number one recommended way of protecting yourself from teeth grinding is what's called a night guard, which is a custom fitted prosthetic that you put inside your mouth. It usually runs, hundreds of dollars, but I know our sponsor, Smile Brilliant, can get you custom fitted night guards for as little as $45 a piece.
So if you go to smilebrilliant.com and use TechTime Radio at checkout, you can receive 20% off your complete order. So visit smilebrilliant.com and use the TechTime Radio at checkout code.
Welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan. Mike, how is your whiskey tasting?
Oh, pretty good.
Pretty good? Did you get your cough all taken care of? You got everything swallowed down?
Yeah, it sounds like it.
It sounds like it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't coughed in a minute.
You haven't coughed. You know what? I did a basketball tournament, and they made a rule where if you coughed twice, they threw you out of the basketball tournament.
If I was really not enjoying that, there's a quick way to get out of that. Well, I'm going to do that at work.
You're going to do that at work?
Yeah.
Two coughs and you're done?
Oh, you got to go home.
You got to go home. Thank you very much. I'll work from home again today. All right. Well, welcome back to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm. We're excited to continue on our Protect Yourself today. When we left, we talked about the new blitz on the new James Bond movie. And this is now the number one fish bait attack in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens are cybercriminals are using the new James Bond movie, No Time to Die, as fish baits. Experts warn the malicious ads and phishing sites are claiming falsely to offer free access to the full movie. Now, here's what happened. No Time to Die released the first 10 minutes of the movie available for everybody to watch. They did this about 6 months ago, I think is what it was, to drive interest because it's been delayed now almost, I think, 2 years, is it? Or a year and a half? It's a long time.
It's COVID time. Nobody knows what it is.
COVID time doesn't exist, right? So it runs slower, COVID time, or we just forget it.
Yeah, I totally forgot what grade my son was in because I completely blocked out 2020.
So 2020 didn't exist. But essentially, the cybercriminals have taken the first 10 minutes of this. They offer the free access to the full movie. And since we're all getting used to watching movies and streaming for movies, it would not be unrealistic for us to expect that if James Bond email comes into my deal and I can watch it for $3.99 instead of paying the $19.99 release price, and I can get it ahead of everybody as a VIP pass, well, then I should probably sign it up to watch it from $3 to $7 because that's a great deal.
Yeah. Take advantage of your Walmart mentality.
That's right. When users visit the website in hopes of watching the long-awaited No Time to Die movie, they're asked to register their details after seeing the first few minutes of the latest film. During the registration, victims will be required to enter their credit card information so that they can charge them to watch the remaining part of the movie. Mm-hmm. However, after registration is complete, the user will not be able to continue watching.
No way.
Because it's not available anywhere online, so no one has it. Money is then debited from their cards, and the payment data ends up being in the fraudster's hands. They then have access to your credit card to purchase additional items as necessary, all under $9 items so that they are not tracked. So all of a sudden, you're going to get a credit card bill here if you do this, where you got a $3.99, a $7.99, a $9.99, everything under $10, because that's kind of the magic limit where they track it.
Right.
So anything underneath that is under social media. They're sending it, and what happens is these sites are available all across the United States. So it's not like it's only coming from Russia. It's like there's a site here in the U.S., there's a site in Canada, there's a site in Texas, there's a site in, I said the U.S., and then I put Texas too, because I don't know if Texas is in the U.S. anymore. But yeah, so all the different areas that are available. So,
okay.
All right. What happens is, after this process happens, your No Time to Die comes up with a critical error, and it says, please reboot your machine. Now, as they reboot their machine, the first thing that comes on up, it comes to an alert page that says that this information is available, and if you're having problems, you can call support, and they'll take care of any issues you're having. So support then, so this is a great deal, right? So you've paid your credit card. They're maxing the credit card itself. Then you call support because you say, hey, I had this James Bond movie that I just purchased, right? I want to watch the new thing. They will help log onto your computer to get your computer access to watch the movie. During this time, they're loading malware on the back end of your computer. Instead of helping you access it, they now have access to your computer itself. So big scammers, No Time to Die is not available to purchase on any PC offers you see coming into your inbox. You're not allowed to watch it because there is no stream information that's available out there for you to purchase. There you go. News alert. No Time to Die may be a great movie, but probably not a great movie to buy on the cheap. All right, that ends our segment. When we return, we have Mike's Mesmerizing Moment brought to us by StoriCoffee, and we'll have Pick of the Day. So we're going to see you right after this. I'm Nathan Mumm. Thank you for listening.
Hey, Mike,
What?
have you heard of elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost.
You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size. That's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry. That's ELDERBERRY-boost.com and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Welcome to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Day here. Elderberry Boost. Now, you tried a little bit of Elderberry Boost, didn't you?
Yeah, I got these little, what are they, chews? Little gummies?
Yeah.
They're very tasty.
Yeah, you put one in, and you weren't really sure at first, right? You were kind of like,
No, they tasted really good.
They're pretty good, aren't they?
Yeah.
They give you tons of...
And then I got tea, but I haven't tried that out yet. But apparently you have.
So you know what? Let me just tell you, we have the best coffee sponsor and the best tea sponsor here in the United States that I can find.
Okay.
So you're going to go home and try that tea. You're going to love that. And then you know what? It'll give you a energy boost and taste great at the same time.
Yeah? Are you going to replace your Monsters with those?
No. No, Monsters just no, my energy drinks still happen each and every day.
Is it Monster?
No, it's Rockstar. It's
okay.
Rockstar
Yeah,
Diet.
that's
Rockstar,
right.
that big white
That's
can.
Right. That's right. Rockstar Diet. You gotta do your diet stuff.
That's right. Because it's only like 30 calories instead of 200 or whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, let's now move into Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, brought to us by StoriCoffee.
This is Mike's Mesmerizing Moment, presented by StoriCoffee. Visit StoriCoffee.com.
You know, I've said this many, many times. The concerning thing about all this technological advancements that we make is outpacing the ability for humans to keep up with it.
Okay. Yep.
Right? So we were talking about all these different scams, like they're using these audio files to deepfake an audio. So they're calling somebody and using a fake audio that sounds and acts like the person that they're scamming. They're using the person that to scam.
Yep.
Right? And the person on the other end of the line can't detect anything, which actually is not that difficult to do because we're not that subtle.
Or correct.
You know, we're not as quick to pick up on things as, like, say, a voice analyzer.
Sure. But so let's listen to that banker, right? So that banker had that little issue that he had listening to it, but he could have been on like a cheap voice over IP phone too, right? So there's some other criteria just with that banker with the deep fake that was there, where it could have been that he couldn't quite hear and it was maybe a little scratchy or not. So it could have sounded great because it wasn't crystal clear as it used to be when we had landlines, when you could actually hear the voices clear.
Right, but one of the biggest problems with this is that we're getting so used to doing all this stuff online that it's bypassing our critical thinking, critical factors.
Okay.
Right? I mentioned automatic movie dubbing. You know,
Yep.
there's these companies out there that are trying to do this where they take snippets of an actor's voice, run it through these types of programs, and then they're able to translate it into different languages using that actor's voice and cadence. Right? So that when because I don't know, you don't like martial arts movies.
No, so we talked about this right at our production meeting that
Right.
we had. So the Squid Games came on out. So this is what this AI thing that you're kind of talking about.
Yeah.
And so I turned it on, and so it is I don't know if it's Japanese or Korean or where it is, but it's essentially
It's an Asian film.
Asian-based film. It looked pretty cool and interesting because it had like
Yeah,
these
it's one of the top next Netflix movies right now.
Yep. So I really wanted to watch it. I think it's a series. So I think there's like 4 or 5 episodes or whatever. I wanted to watch it. But what happened is I started watching it, and a minute into it, I could tell that it wasn't the native language, and they tried to have people talk as best as they could. But all of a sudden, this guy's in using an ATM, and his mouth is going back and forth, and it's like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
And then, and it was like 15 different words, and it's like, hang on. And then I'm like, whoa. And this what happens is then this other guy just goes off and he says, you can't do that. And but he's talking for like 13
I know
seconds.
the best thing about old martial arts movies was that you would have these people that would come up and their mouth would be going right,
Yeah.
and it would be like, you're dead. And that is the classic fun of these movies.
Okay,
right?
but that's a B-rated show. So if you're watching like one of those B-rated jiu-jitsu, karate movies,
but-
I could see that, and I could see that being kind of fun. But
Right,
this
but-
is like supposed to be a #1 show.
Right, but what they're doing now is they're trying to do this with that deep dubbing voice, where they're taking the voice of the actor instead of hiring actors to do all the voiceovers, which is highly expensive. And again, we're trying to make everything much, much simpler, and we're trying to replace human interaction as much as we possibly can. And then we're creating these things. And then there's a company out there that's not only doing that, but they're actually instead of using the audio voices, they are digitally they're using voice actors to do the dubbing,
Yep.
and then they're digitally altering the film so that it looks like the people are voicing the correct language.
Correct. They're actually altering the mouth.
Right.
They're zooming in on the mouth changing the mouth to sound more like American words that would do that.
We'll probably have the same thing with the Henry Cavill mustache debacle.
Yep.
Which
was
so
for people that are listening that may not what happened in
that was when they had to do some reshots of what was it Justice League?
Yeah, Snyder Cut.
Justice League. He had grown a mustache for another film, so they had to like paint it out or something, and it was just really bad.
And it really did not look well.
It didn't look good at all. So the problem is that right now we can do this, and there's the uncanny valley thing that we can detect still.
Yep.
But this stuff is getting more and more sophisticated, and we're relying more and more on virtual interactions to these things, and the human and all these cons.
Yep.
Take advantage of simple human nature.
Yep.
We want to get it done. We want to get it done fast. We want to get it done efficiently, and we don't have the ability to keep all of our tracks or all our cars on the track at the same time. So we got all this input coming in from David, and so it takes advantage of distractibility and all this other stuff. One of the problems with this kind of stuff is that I don't know if you ever watch films with subtitles.
I do not.
Okay.
I struggled. I saw Dances with Wolves, and I had to read the dialogue. And I remember I walked out of that movie saying, "Man, I don't want to go to a movie where I have to read." So I'm
okay,
a lot of people do like it. Though.
Yeah, that makes sense coming for you. But there's a lot of people. I enjoy watching foreign films.
Okay.
Not all the time, but you get to hear the language. Like Mandarin, Chinese, or Japanese, or any French, and you get to hear this language that you wouldn't hear if it's dubbed. So it's taking away some of this cultural diversity that we're doing. So there's other things involved, but the point that I'm trying to make is that we're trying to create this technology, and it's so quickly turned against us that we don't have time to figure stuff out. Like I said earlier, we might have to go back to face-to-face interactions. How would you feel if you had to go down to your bank every time to do a transaction because there's so many of these hackers out there dubiously taking advantage of all these technologies and using it to access your accounts and your information and so
I'd probably be annoyed, right? Because my time I would now say I could just use it.
It's the same thing with like dual authentication. Why do we have to do dual authentication?
To make sure that we are actually there to click approve to make
That's
sure.
right. Right. Sooner or later, somebody's going to come up with a way to get around that, and there's going to be triple.
Yep.
And quadruple. And then I'm going to have to memorize 50 different
Passcodes
variations of a passcode. It's
well,
ridiculous.
no, because AI will take over by that time, right? So
I need an
Terminator.
AI. I need an AI that takes care of, and that's probably what's on the horizon too. Is that you have personal AIs that you can get programmed to take care of all this stuff for you,
like Jarvis in
like Jarvis.
Like Jarvis.
I want a Jarvis
in the Marvel universe. All right, well, let's now move on to our pick of the day.
And now our pick of the day for our whiskey tastings. Let's see what bubbles to the top.
All right, we have our Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple 70 proof, $17.99. It is an American whiskey. It combines Jack Apple crisp green liqueurs. So that must be Applejack, but they must not say it. So Jack Apple.
Well,
is there
probably
an apple?
Can't be Applejack.
Well, is there actually an apple called Jack Apple?
I have no idea. I'm not an Apple fanatic.
Okay. Are you sure?
No, I know about Honeycrisp, and I know about there's another one I can't remember.
Okay, it
and I know about
combines
Red
green
Delicious.
apple liqueur with the unique and unmistakable characteristics of Jack Daniel's. It's fresh cut apples combined with warm caramel and a toffee balanced classic spice. So I didn't finish all mine during the last commercial break.
Well, I didn't either.
So we'll have to continue that on to the second hour. What is your rating and why for the whiskey? What are you going to give it?
I'm giving it a thumbs up.
A thumbs up.
I like taste. We had this argument with the delicious yumminess of the peanut butter liquor we had.
Oh yeah, the screwball. Yeah.
It's very tasty, but maybe it doesn't really qualify for real whiskey.
A real whiskey connoisseur may not call this. Well, although I did have to buy it in the whiskey aisle, so I will say that.
Yeah, it's alcohol. Where are you going to buy it? You can buy
Wines
it,
and more.
You're going to buy it in the pharmacy. I'm like, oh, can I have some?
Well, that's what you used to do back in the olden days, isn't that? Wasn't the pharmacy peddler would come by and sell you alcohol?
Some laudanum and snake oil.
Yeah,
how about that?
And then everything would take care of yourself.
Yeah, you don't go. You don't go to the pharmacy to get liquor. You got to go to anything alcoholic, right?
That's correct. No, I go to the Wines and More place.
Yeah, okay.
That's like my favorite little store. You drop a couple $100 there, and you walk out with like 4 or 5 bottles of alcohol.
Or you could, drop $10 and walk out with $100 worth of crappy liquor.
Or Canadian Mist.
Yeah, Canadian crap.
Canadian Mist. All right. Well, I'm going to say for my Jack Daniel's Tennessee Apple, I'm actually going to give it a thumbs down.
And why are you giving it a thumbs down?
I just don't like the.
You just
apple
don't like
taste.
apples.
I don't. I think that may be it. I may not be an apple. I'm more a banana guy. You know what? I like
maybe they need to have Jack Daniel's banana
or you know what? Even I'm not a big pineapple fan. But
all they have to do is add some ketones to that, and that'll give you that banana taste.
Banana taste. There you go.
I don't know. Do they make banana whiskey now? Somebody's going to make it now.
You know what? If they don't, we should create the Mike and Mumm's
banana whiskey.
Banana whiskey. We should figure out how to do that. I will tell you this though. I've been spending a lot of time smoking a little bit of salmon. So if you need some smoked salmon, you're gonna have to taste.
Do you do that with?
No, I
do that with a bong?
No. With the.
You're gonna bring
egg.
some, right?
Yeah, you know what? I'll bring some, David. So
okay, cool.
I'll have to bring some so that we have that taken care of, and I'm going to be smoking some this weekend. So
okay.
So I don't catch the fish, so I have somebody else.
I'm not sure. That's
very not technology.
I don't know why that inserted into the conversation.
I don't know because we had a big thing.
Here I am I'm starting to smoke stuff. What are you trying to smoke? Oh, I'm smoking salmon.
Okay,
you use rolling papers for that? What?
So we had 38 pages of our show notes today, and we got done exactly on time. How's that?
I'm not really.
That's good. That means we got it all
cool.
taken care of. All right.
I don't care.
Okay, so I think do we have a minute left? Oh, whoa. We say stretch. All right. Well, let's talk about what the next hour is going to be.
Yeah, what's the next hour going to be?
On the second hour, we have our Steals and Deals segment. Mm-hmm. So we have some Apple products that are on sale this week.
Do they taste good?
No. No, that doesn't take like the Apple Tennessee whiskey.
Oh, damn.
We are going to have our segment Ask the Expert with our favorite guest and CRISPR extraordinaire James Riddle, the Vice President of Research, Service, and Strategic Consulting at Advera. We're going to be talking about the possibilities of a real Jurassic Park and bringing animals back to life that have been extinct. And then we have a Nathan Nugget to end the show where we're going to be talking about cars and what happens to your old car when you want to get the engine replaced so that it can be eco-friendly. There is a company in London that actually strips out your old diesel producing / old engine and will take old Tesla engines and old Nissan Leaf engines, put them into your vehicle so they can
drive 3 miles.
So you can, so you can drive down in an eco-friendly car.
Ooh.
Well, no. So if you're going to be in California in like 5 years from now, the only cars are going to be able to sell down there are eco-friendly cars. So if you have think of your 1956 Chrysler or your old Chevy that you have. And you
take a 1956 Chrysler and you put a battery operated stuff in there, you've just destroyed that Chrysler. Well, that's a classic car.
But what if it happens when you're in California specifically and you're not going to be able to be driving anything other than eco-friendly cars?
Don't go to California.
Well,
that's an easy thing.
That's an easy thing to do.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to be that easy. So we have a solution to take care of that. All right, we are still we're ahead in time. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play our music. We'll start some of our commercials now, and then we can start some of our other commercials at the other time. Can you do that, David? David's shaking his head no. Okay.
No.
Well, let me.
You need to keep talking. What are you going to talk about?
I am going to talk about the next
old batteries in new cars.
No, hang on.
I'm going to put double A's in my.
All right,
my Camaro.
So let's talk about the metaverse.
There's the music. Check that out.
There you go. Let's talk about the metaverse.
What's the metaverse?
Metaverse is all these universes that Marvel is talking about.
Why
is every TV show coming out there now trying to do these parallel Earths?
Because it sells. People buy this stuff, and then so everybody that's how everything works in Hollywood. Oh, look, they just did a whole. Do you remember the slew of stupid sci-fi movies that came out after Star Wars did?
I do remember.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, there was a bunch of bad ones.
They were just crazy stupid.
Yeah,
and we all ate it up. We were like, "Oh, we need to watch that." And I remember one. I was like. What was that? Battle Beyond the Stars with John Boy. Remember?
Yeah.
That was the dumbest movie ever.
But now,
but I watch it. I still watch it today.
You still watch it today?
I'm like, this is dumb, but it's so fun to watch. Flash Gordon. That's one of my favorites.
Okay. Did you ever watch Howard the Duck?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Not big on Howard.
The early Marvel stuff. Well, the metaverse is hitting everywhere because every studio now is producing it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to get ready for our second hour. We're excited to see you there. That's right. I'm Nathan Mumm. We got Micro Day here. David behind the board. See you later.
Thanks for joining us on TechTime Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/TechTimeRadio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at TechTime Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.